Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclarke.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clarke. It is Wednesday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to everyone for liking, sharing, following, and of course subscribing to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Monday to Friday, we're here for you. Alan Ruff is in the studio today alongside Tam McManus, sporting his own T-shirt from our very own shop. His favourite player is Diego Maradona. Of course, Barry Ferguson had his on last week, which is his choice was Pirlo as well. And there you have it. That's the team. They're ready to give their opinion, and this is what we're discussing. Yes, we'll be looking at Celtic and Rangers in the Europa League. We'll be looking back at last night's unbelievable Champions League football and ahead to some of the ties involving British clubs this evening, as well as talking about some of the emerging stories today. Ruffy, I'm looking at it. It's a 5-year deal for Callum McGregor. Is it a 5-year deal based on here's your future here, or is it one of those little deals to protect an asset should somebody come calling?
It is. It's protecting the asset. They saw the money they got for Kieran Tierney. It's fabulous money. I think McGregor's on that run, you know, depending on what team actually comes in for him. Maybe not as much as 25 just now, but if he keeps playing the way he is, you know, he's come on year, and he's just a massive player for Celtic just now.
Yep, this is what Callum McGregor had to say about that 5-year deal. When you start as a young kid, you set yourself one goal to play a first-team game, and I'm sitting here right now coming up to my 250th game. To be at the club, hopefully, for the full 5 years, that will take me to 23 years at Celtic. It's something I could only have dreamt of as a young player. It's been a tremendous 4 or 5 years for the club, and obviously for me too. We've been winning pretty much everything on the pitch. The club's growing, and I'm just desperate to be a part of that. I feel as if I've still got the best I've ever been in the terms of performance and living on and off the pitch. I feel in a really good place, and I'm delighted the club have rewarded that as well. So there you are. There is one happy bunny. 5-year deal, and again, he's one of those players, he's just ever reliable.
He is. We spoke about it earlier. He's never injured. You know, he's a guy who you're going to get 40, 50 games out every season, and it's a manager's dream. You know, somebody that you can rely on. It's not going to pick up a niggle or you know, cry off injured. He's always available. He's always ready. He can play anywhere on the pitch, and he's always a 7 or 8 out of 10 every week. So brilliant business for Celtic to get him tied up, but there'll still be big clubs looking at him, I think. Yeah,
and over and above that, he'll play his part on Thursday night. He'll play in that Celtic side that's trying to get a result in Rome against Lazio. Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi has had a look at the big one.
Celtic face a daunting trip to the Stadio Olimpico as they take on Lazio in their 4th Europa League match. An ongoing dispute between the two sets of fans has threatened to overshadow the game, but that hasn't stopped over 9,000 Scottish fans making the trip to the Italian capital. Security will be high and supporters have been advised to not drink alcohol or wear match colours, but the Hoops fans will still be aiming to enjoy themselves. They may even outnumber the home support in the stadium after Lazio were given a partial stadium closure for racist behaviour previously. Victory here would confirm the Scottish champions' place in the last 32 of the tournament and give them European football after Christmas yet again, and manager Neil Lennon believes his team are in the right vein of form to take on their opponents tomorrow.
It's a titanic game in front of us. We know the calibre of opposition that we've got on Thursday night, but it's not beyond them.
Since the game in the East End of Glasgow, Lazio have notched up 3 impressive wins at home to Torino and away to Fiorentina and most recently AC Milan. Expect Sergei Milinkovic-Savic to have more time on the ball and the mercurial Ciro Immobile to play from the start. Celtic are likely to line up with an identical 11 that played 2 weeks ago and will be boosted by the news today of talismanic Callum McGregor's contract extension. But whether the outcome in the match will be the same again, only tomorrow night will tell.
Well, you mentioned it this morning that you thought that Celtic were more dynamic under Neil Lennon. Does it enhance his CV even further if he can somehow go to Rome and produce something a wee bit special?
Yeah, regarding Neil Lennon, I just think the Celtic team this season are better to watch. I thought under Brendan Rodgers they had one game plan, and that was just to play the ball easy, simple. But under Neil Lennon, they've got more of a threat going forward. And I think they can go over to Lazio, and I don't think they'll win the game, but I think they're capable of going and getting at least a point. They've shown last week against Lazio, albeit they're a very good team and with very good players. But look, Celtic are in a good place now. Confidence is high, and I don't see why they can't go over there and snatch a point.
Prediction, Tam?
I think Lazio will just edge it. I was impressed with them at Parkhead. I think they'll beat Celtic 2-1.
Ruffy?
Yeah, I thought Lazio should have got something out of the game as well. On that evidence, I think they'll win 2-0.
Okay, there you are. You can give us your view on that as well. It's all subjective stuff. Celtic have been producing some great European performances down through the years. Will this be another one added to them? Neil Lennon's Celtic against Lazio in Rome. Well, what about Rangers? They're at home against Porto. It was an impressive performance by the Ibrox club away from home. Can they replicate that and more with getting a win? Well, the manager Steven Gerrard has just mentioned only in the last few hours that they're feeling well up for this one and not under any great pressure.
I think if you look at our record in Europe, I think the players deserve to be praised on it. There's been the odd occasion, of course, where we would have liked the game management or the intelligence to be a bit better, i.e. the young boys away performance. There's also been the odd occasion where games have been in the balance at Ibrox, and we've tried to urge them to be a little bit more bold and brave to go and try and take maximum points, knowing that maybe a point's not enough.
Well, he's asking for more credit for what they've achieved, but I think everybody's been glowing in their praise of what they're doing on the pitch in European football under Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, listen, that's one area the team that they're certainly improved their European form, and now they're starting to bring that into the league form and also into the Betfred final against Celtic. So Rangers are similar to Celtic in many ways for me. Both of them have got a lot of confidence, they're playing well, they're beating teams convincingly. And it's the same with Rangers. I don't think they've got much to fear. Porto are a good team, don't get us wrong, but Rangers are at home under a lights European night, 50,000 fans behind them. I think Rangers can go and win that game.
I share Barry's optimism on this one. Tam, what about yourself?
Yeah, I agree. I thought they were excellent away in the away game against Porto. I thought they should have won the game. Great save of the goalkeeper from Morelos' header. So I think Morelos caused them all sorts of problems as well. I think if he plays, I think he definitely get the better of Pepe, another big centre back over there. So I think Rangers can win that game and win it 2-0.
Yeah, okay. And of course, no surprise that Ryan Kent has mentioned he might only be 90% fit, but he reckons as part of that team they shouldn't really fear anyone.
You know, there's a lot more confidence, hunger's there, and just belief that, you know, we can go and achieve something this season. I think the key thing's not coming up against teams and fearing them from prior to the game, and you know, in the game it's just whoever steps up on the pitch has got to go and deliver.
Yep, it's a Rangers side that have come a long way. You've got players now saying they don't fear anyone. They're producing performances that maybe, if anything, I would say sometimes in the media, I'm not talking for everyone, but we're maybe looking at it and thinking they're not capable of getting a result, and suddenly they come up and surprise a few of us.
Yeah, I think the more games that they play in Europe, the confidence seems to be there. My only slight worry would be they've only scored one goal in their 3 games, you know, and that you're always on tender hooks when that is the case. If they could get that second goal, I would have been more than confident that they'd win it, you know, because if they're hanging on to a 1-0, there's always a chance that these teams in the counter-attack, you know, can get a goal against you. So I'm going to sit on the fence in this one and go 1 each.
Okay, there you are. Look at the boys. Look at see, there you are, and it continues for Monday. But I have to tell you, in his defence, although there's a bit of edge between Ruffy and myself, as you know, but, you know, everybody can have a fallout. You know, you don't have to look at Ant and Deck. So we're not on great talking terms at the moment, Tam, because I believe Ruffy is just basically a cheat. But other than that, he, to his defence, 1-1 1-1 is a prediction. 1-1 is a prediction. Even though you think it's sitting on the fence, it's still a prediction.
That's a prediction. I mean, I genuinely think Rangers are a better side. I thought they looked a better side over there. I think they won the game.
Yep. Still, he's not for turning on this one. Let's switch our attention to a story that emerged in the papers that Stoke have sounded out Steve Clarke, the Scotland manager. Could a club of Stoke's stature convince Steve Clarke to turn his back on his country?
Well, they're a big club. They're a Premier League club. They're suffering a bit just now, but I would like to think Steve Clarke's settling into the Scotland job. I know it's early days, but I would like to think and I'd like to hope that he remains the Scotland manager, because I think in time he will get it right. I like the way he goes about his job, so I would like to think that he would reject that and give a bit of stability, because that's what we need now. We need a manager that's going to stay and work with a group of players that he's got, and I believe if he stays in time he will get it right.
Yeah, well, I mean it's Stoke, but it could be another club at some point in the future, comes calling to try and attract him.
No, I think he's quite a loyal guy. I think he's a commitment to the cause. I think he's already, every time you see him in an interview, he looks very, very committed. He's looking for the players to show the same commitment, and I think he'll see it out, If by chance we do get the Euros and if he wants to move on after that, I don't think anybody would have a problem.
Yeah, I mean he's still got that standing, but I think even Steve Clarke would look at it and say to himself, I want to try and prove a point here. Listen, if he gets Scotland to major championships, never mind how he gets them there, just by getting them there, he can write a bigger cheque in the future, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think his stock is still pretty high in England. He's done well with West Brom, obviously been involved with Chelsea down there as well, so he's got a good name in England. So I think a lot of clubs will be looking at him to take him down there. But as Alan said, I think he's committed to Scotland, to the country. Got some big games coming up. It's one of the ones, but if we lose the next couple of games and don't qualify, there'll be a few shouting for his head. And that's just the nature of the game. So he's under pressure, I think, the next 3 games.
Yep. OK. What did you make, Ruffy, of the comments of Aberdeen's Vice Chairman Dave Cormack with regards to trying to somehow break the stranglehold of Celtic and Rangers? Is almost virtually impossible. If anything, their blueprint now is to try and keep, looking to get to third place in the table. Is that lacking ambition or just a realisation of the way it is in this country?
I think it's realisation. You see the money that Celtic are throwing about, and Rangers have joined the bandwagon. Their finances are so much ahead of Aberdeen. I think that's what you've got to be, and hopefully the supporters buy into it, because they're the main ones that you've got to keep on board. So I think getting to finals, probably winning finals and being third would be okay.
Well, here's my take on it. You've got Aberdeen spend, maybe at 9 million for the entire season, Tam. Celtic have spent 60 million. You're trying to compete with them. They spend 7 million on a defender. So it's very difficult to do that. But if I was Aberdeen, I would look and say to myself, OK, we've got to try and change, not too drastically, because I think the Aberdeen fans are aware of it, got to try and change the mindset and say, OK, we've now got a manager, whether it's Derek McInnes or here's the next manager, we've got a new stadium, we've got a new training facility. We are going to try and put the money into the scouting system to get the best young players we can up to Aberdeen to try and replicate the Fairgainers and get them and try and build a team. We may take a few spankings on the way, but we reckon maybe if they get a good enough clutch, they can get a 2 or 3 year period where they could maybe give somebody a bloody nose in that league. Is that too ambitious, or is that just pie in the sky?
It's great what you're saying. It sounds great in theory, but the thing is that they'll not be able to keep a hold of those players. If I was part of a Hibs team, back in the day where Gary O'Connor, Derek Riordan, Whittaker, Thompson, Brown, it was a great side, but all of a sudden 1 goes, 2 goes, 3 goes. Once they hit 2021, they're doing well and they're playing well every week, you're going to lose them for money. So while I get what you're saying in terms of building a team, Celtic and Rangers will just come and pick them off once they're our bigger clubs in England. So yes, go and try and build a team, but in terms of competing with Rangers and Celtic over the course of a full season, I don't think it's possible.
But listen, I buy into exactly what you're saying. I offer it as, an option that they can't keep spending and then losing managers on the basis that they'll never be able to win that league. But if they do suddenly decide, OK, we're going to be a conveyor belt, as Tam says, try and get the most talented players we can get our hands on and the young players as well, and literally try and adopt the Celtic blueprint, which is, okay, if we sell one on for 3, 4, 5 million, that funds the next batch that we go and get.
Yeah, I like the idea, but what Tam says, I think is going to be, well, it'll be spot on. I think once you get an age, they play 40, 50 games, 20, 21, money talks, whether it's Rangers and Celtic are going to come in, or whether it's the top teams down in England. But look, they've got a great facility now. I've seen it. Training facility is unbelievable. I think they will be able to attract good young players now. I think they'll be able to go up against Rangers and Celtic and say, listen, come here, you might get an opportunity before you would at Rangers and Celtic. But it's a good idea, but also on the flip side of it, building a young team, you're going to lose them, because if they do well, the bigger clubs are going to come in and snatch them away.
Yep. Okay. Just a thought. You never know. These things, stranger things have happened. From Aberdeen, we'll switch our attention to Champions League football. Of course, we've discussed Europa League. Let's have a look at the results from last night, and what a night it was. Barcelona couldn't get a goal against Slavia Prague. It was Leipzig with an away win against Zenit St. Petersburg. Liverpool in the end edged it 2-1 against Genk, with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scoring a lovely winner in that match. Napoli drawing with Red Bull Salzburg. Borussia Dortmund just edging out Inter Milan 3-2. Lyon 3-1 against Benfica. Of course, Valencia dispatched 4 past Lille in a 4-1 win. But the most amazing game was Chelsea 4, Ajax 4. At one point, Ajax were 4-1 up in the game. Have you ever witnessed anything like it, Tam?
It was an incredible game. I mean, as you said, for 50, 55 minutes, Ajax tore them apart. 4-1 up, and on easy street. And then the referee, Chelsea get a goal back for 40, and the referee makes a terrible decision. I mean, the shot hits the guy in the arm. The guy's arms are literally glued to his legs. I mean, there's no way he can put his arms. It hits his arm, gives a penalty. Then there's obviously something been said to the referee, and there's 2 players sent off. They score the penalty 4-3, and then they go 4 each, and then you think Chelsea are going to win the game. And then Ajax done well actually to hang on for the 4 each draw. But great game. It turned on, I think, a poor refereeing decision.
Yeah. Barry, I'll give you one thing, and not only because you're the Celtic manager, and I just wonder if you would have adopted the same tactic, and it'll give Ruffy and myself and Tam an insight into you as a person. Ajax are down to 9 men, by the way. They've got a corner and they've got six of their players in the Chelsea box looking to try and win the game, leaving 2 at the back with the goalie. They've only got 9 men in the park, and I'm thinking, whoa, this is magnificent.
You're asking what I would do? I would be slightly different from what the Ajax manager.
Just Van de Beek on his own up there with the other.
Yeah, the rest of them in a line at the halfway line. No, but listen, that's the confidence they've got. I mean, I was talking to Tam off camera, and do you know what? They're a great team to watch. They always produce. They've got a conveyor belt of young players consistently coming through, and they play the game in the right manner, and there's no fear in the Ajax teams. I love to watch them.
Yep, and of course, fair play to Chelsea for coming back, and of course, Azpilicueta thought he'd scored the winner to make it 5-4 until VAR intervened. But Frank Lampard, as ever, a growing reputation, and of course, he was quick to praise his own team.
What we have to focus on is what we have in front of us now, and for a performance like today, you need characters, personalities. At 3-1 down at half-time, easy to turn it in, even more easy to turn it in at 4-1 down and give it up. We never did.
Yeah, fair play to Chelsea. What about tonight? 2 English clubs involved. I don't think I'd like to bet on Red Star Belgrade against Tottenham. As you see, this is how it all pans out. And the other match involves Manchester City away in Italy against Atalanta. Now, I've had a look. I think it's something like 649 million Pep Guardiola has spent, roughly, since he arrived at Man City. Now, I don't know about you. It's got to be this season. 649 million. Hello, Pep. You're only hired here to win the Champions League. Is it going to happen?
I think they'll be there or thereabouts. I don't think so. I just don't. I keep harping on about the centre-halves. I think it's a big failing that these clubs spend all these millions and millions of pounds and don't get a decent centre-half. The goalkeeper will get them there, but I think no, not for me, no.
I think they'll be thereabouts. I think Liverpool, again, have got to be thereabouts as well. I don't see, like Real Madrid, they're struggling a little bit. Barcelona, seen him last night. They were poor against Slavia Prague. Bayern Munich just sacked their manager. So a lot of the big guns in Europe are kind of struggling at the minute. So I think you're looking at Man City, Liverpool again, if they can avoid each other, maybe get each other in the final.
Baz?
Yeah, I think it's the best opportunity for them to win it this year.
Yeah.
As Tam's just said, the big clubs are no firing. So I think it could be his year. I don't think they'll win the Premier League. I think Liverpool will win that. So I think his sole focus will go in the Champions League. Oh, of course, he'll still want to win the league, but I think what a chance they've got, and I think they could do it.
Yeah, okay. Just before we go, as ever, we like to give you some special competitions. Of course, we can never, ever compete with some of the stars that Ruffy's been hanging about with over the entire footballing career. He's met with some big stars. But at the weekend, I caught up with Kevin Bridges, and I thought, wouldn't it be a perfect time to get a wee competition with one of Scotland's top comedians, in fact, one of the best in the UK. So, for your pleasure, for the benefit of Celtic fans, because last week we had Hearts and Hibs, this week Celtic, who knows, next week it could be Rangers, but here's a chance for you to win a very personal shirt.
You can win this Celtic away top signed by one of the UK's top comedians, Kevin Bridges. All you have to do is like, share, follow or subscribe to one of our PLZ Soccer social media channels.
If you could do that, Ruffy, just when you meet all the stars that hang about with you, just get them to sign something, you know?
Yeah, I actually did meet him in Cyprus. He was in the sort of a Lilo in front of me, and I wasn't brave enough to go up and say hello.
Yeah, but again, an indication that Ruffy hangs about with people in exotic locations and holidays that we can ill afford. Well, maybe me and Tam, certainly Fergie could. And on that note, good luck with the competition. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media outlets. Thank you to everyone for joining us on Twitter. More and more people are joining our ever-growing football family on Facebook Live and, of course, on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel. If you download the app, you'll get it all at your fingertips. All the breaking news stories as well. And, of course, the top team that we've assembled for you this season. Thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Tam McManus, and also Barry Ferguson. From myself, Peter Martin. Thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclarke.com.